We'll keep the conversation going on here with our Friday morning panel. And joining us is the National Senate Leader Bridget McKenzie and the Independent MP Zali Steggall. I mean, neither of you are really involved in this, but I'm sure you've got opinions. Starting with you, Bridget, how do you think it was handled?
Well, Peter, I think it went on for too long, and I think the leader was left with no choice. And you're right, this is a matter for the Liberal Party. The fact is, people watching today are absolutely sick and tired of politicians talking about themselves, making it all about them. We've got to get on with the business of fighting a very bad Labor government. And indeed, I'm looking forward to doing that here in Shepparton around the transport sector, climate change targets that Bowen and co will be introducing in coming weeks. But needless to say, I feel the leader had no choice, and Jacinta Price is no longer on the front bench, but I'm sure she'll continue to do a great job on behalf of the NT.
Does she risk having an agitator on the backbench now, though, Bridget?
Well, we've got a lot of outspoken, talented people on the backbench, Pete, as you would know. And it's great to be in a coalition where there is so much talent on the front bench and the backbench. So I know from personal experience that being on the backbench doesn't stop you from making a significant and powerful contribution to policy development and indeed change within Parliament. So hopefully Jacinta can use this opportunity to further the causes she believes in and take it up to Labor so that we can be competitive at the next election.
So I know we know it's a matter for the Liberals, but the Liberals are your coalition partner, and I'm sure it's been a frustrating time for you to watch it all. But is Susan Lee the right person to lead the Liberals?
Well, Pete, these are not questions for the National Party. They never have been, and nor they should be. We are obviously strong coalition partners, but the future of the Liberal Party is a matter for the Liberal Party. We are very, very comfortable in our own skin and doing what we do best, which is, being with our local communities, fighting for our constituencies and our industries. We're not going to stop doing what we're doing, and, we hope the Liberal Party is successful under Susan Lee.
All right, one more here. Would you prefer Andrew Hastie to lead, as his views are probably more aligned with yours?
Geez, Pete, 3 times not going to be a charm this morning.
Okay.
Look, it's not my first rodeo with these sort of issues in the Liberal Party, and I'm hopeful and confident that everyone can see the enemy is Labor.
All right.
They are destroying our country. We need to have a serious conversation, Pete, on population settlement. I've got an inquiry before the Senate right now that I'm hoping I can get support for to really have the conversation that young people want to have. Why can't they get into a house? Why are they being stopped from actually starting a family? And why is our immigration so high? So it's a sensible, respectful conversation we need to have.
All right, Zali,
let's get on with it.
You've been patient, Zali. Thank you so much. Let's get your thoughts on this. Was it the only option for Susan Lee to move Jacinta Price to the backbench, or does she now risk further backbench agitation, as I put to Bridget?
Well, I think the coalition is just moving more and more to the fringe and really becoming irrelevant in the main discussions and what really matters around policy. I think, yes, I think she should have apologised straight away or resigned from that position. It's taken too long, but that's an internal problem for the coalition and the Liberal Party.
So you think Jacinta Price should have done it voluntarily? Or
absolutely.
Right, okay.
I mean, if she doesn't know those comments were out of line, I don't know what she thinks being in a public-facing role like this is. I take issue with the language Bridget just used, talking about Labor as the enemy. I think in these political times, it's really dangerous to use that kind of inflammatory language. We have a lot of people in Parliament elected to represent communities that have differing views when it comes to policies, and we should argue for those policies in a respectful way. But I think at this time and place around the world and here in Australia as well, on the back of even the inflammatory comments from Jacinta Price, it is about looking at, being respectful. So I think there are plenty of agitators in the backbenches, and some of them are in the Nationals, right? We've still got Barnaby Joyce with his crazy net zero bill. So at the end of the day, I think Susan Lee and the Liberals have a very difficult challenge, and the issue will be they don't offer any sensible policy position.
Okay, well, it means, and I'm just going to squeeze this. Yep, go, Bridget.
Can I ask Zali a question?
Go.
Can I ask Zali a respectful question? Zali, do you think that immigration numbers under Labor are too high, are putting unreasonable stress on our housing supply and demand equation and our strained infrastructure and social cohesion? Is that a discussion that we respectfully
Bridget,
need to have?
you are not an interviewer. What we respectfully need to have is the long-term policies that have led to the situation where we're at. Your community relies on people coming in on visas to work on farming land, for example. My community relies on a lot of people to come in and support retail and hospitality because they cannot get enough people to do the jobs. We have a shortage of bus drivers, would you believe? So we cannot have enough public transport operating to move people around. So it is not a one-dimensional question, an issue, the way you put it, like that you want to try and just get a headline grabbing of is immigration too high or too low. It is just not that simple.
You are trying to shut me down. This is exactly the problem.
This
is exactly the problem.
Bridget.
You can be pro-migrant, and anti-high immigration. That's the difference.
Talking,
That's
Bridget.
a sophisticated conversation we need to have.
Can you be that, Zali? Can you be pro-migrant and anti-immigration?
But again, what is there is a fallacy about what's being promulgated at the moment around the immigration levels. There was a spike as a result of COVID. We had businesses desperate for people to be able, they could not open their doors, they could not get enough staff, right? So, and to suggest that the spike on housing is caused by immigration is simply false. So that is just a straight out misleading statement that gets propped out all the time. The reality is we have a housing crisis because we have demand levers that put too much pressure on price. It's become an investment strategy
which is more people
rather than a housing right. Oh, be quiet. Just let someone else speak for a minute. And then we have a supply issue because for 20 years we have not built enough.
All right.
So to position it as a simplistic blame others, blame immigration is the shtick of the coalition, but it is too simplistic and it is not how we are going to fix the housing crisis.
Bridget and Zali, I always love our discussions and debates. They are robust, and there's another one. But thank you so much for your time. We will talk to you again in a few weeks.